Hey everyone, it's Ashley the Thrifty Chica. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Thanks so much for stopping by. And if you're a returning subscriber, thanks so much for coming back. I really appreciate you. And in this DIY, I'm going to show you how you can save a little bit of money on a themed room decor idea. And I created these Star Wars Rebel Alliance pillows specifically because my son really enjoys Star Wars, but some of the decor can get really expensive. So I wanted to show you how you can make some Star Wars themed items and save a little bit of money at the same time. And it's a great gift idea, so stay tuned. So to begin the design, you'll need a handful of items to work with. The first one is a plate, and I chose a plate because this is about the size that I would like the stencil cut out to be. Also, you'll need some type of pencil. I'm using a mechanical pencil just for ease. A ruler for some parts of the design which require straight lines. 2 sheets of paper, a pair of scissors, some tape, and then also a reference picture to work with. So our first step is to take the 2 pieces of paper and we're going to tape them together so that we have a sheet of paper big enough, or if you have one of the larger Dollar Tree drawing pads, use one of those because that would be the perfect size for this. Next, for our basic shape, we are going to take the plate and put it on top of our paper, and we're just going to draw the complete circle, making sure not to make it too dark because we are going to go back and edit the shape and design of this. So the next step is to check our reference picture, and we're going to start altering this design to match this one, and I'm just going to go ahead and start picking placement for each item. And once you've finished your design, we're going to go ahead and cut this out. And what we'll use this for is a template for cutting the fabric that we're going to use for the pillow. So after you finish cutting your stencil, make sure that you have a piece of fabric that fits about that size to work with. And I found this fabric at Walmart. It was really cute Star Wars fabric. And what I'm going to do is turn this over, and I'm going to place the stencil on the back, and then I'm just going to outline the stencil, and we'll go ahead and use that as the applique for the pillow. This next step, we're going to take our fabric, make sure that you pre-iron it so you have a nice even surface to work with. And we're going to take our ruler and measure out 15 inches square. So I'm going to cut a square of 15 inches, and then I'm going to cut a second one. So that will be kind of the foundation for our pillow. For this next step, I'm going to use some fray check, and what this does is it prevents the fabric from fraying. I'm going to use this on this design specifically because it will look a lot better if it stays intact. If you're doing kind of like a shabby chic or something that's a little bit more rustic, it's probably okay to let the ends fray, but on this I would rather use some fray check. So just use your discretion on which one you prefer. So once we've let the fray check dry, what we're going to go ahead and do is figure out the placement for the little emblem here and try to make sure that it's centered. You may want to break out the measuring tape so that you get it centered perfectly on the pillow. And then once you get it centered, we're going to go ahead and use some pins, and we're going to pin this to the background here. For this next step, the first thing that we're going to do is set our stitch to a zigzag. And then what we're going to do is make sure we've set our speed. I'm going to keep this going pretty slow, and what we're going to do is applique this piece on here. We have it all pinned up so it should stay in place while we're working with it. So the idea here is to go to the edge with your needle here. We're going to go right to the very edge of where we're working. So we're at the edge of our project, and what we're going to do is have the outside of the zigzag just hit very slightly on the edge of the fabric here, and then we're going to have the inside hit right in here. So what we're going to do is take several stitches forward, and then we're going to go backwards so that way it stays in place and holds, and then we'll continue all the way around. We can take out the pins as we go in case they're in the way. Now we're going to hit reverse. And then we'll continue on. And as you're working, because this is a circle, you will sometimes have to lift up on the foot. Keep the needle in, and you can use this to swivel your project as you're working. So you can just leave the needle in and then just move it where you need to. And you want to make sure you continue to move the fabric as you're working. And when you get to the end, just go a little bit further past and then reverse a few stitches and you should be done. So to form the pillow, what we're going to do is we're going to have the nice side of both pieces of fabric facing each other. So here's the nice side with the embellishment, and then we're going to use the fabric. You can tell if you look on both sides of the fabric, one side will look a little smoother and one side will look coarser. Put the side that's smoother towards the center, and that's and basically what we do. And the next part is just lining the pieces up. You can pin them if you like, if it makes it easier for you to keep it perfectly aligned, then do that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start sewing. So for this one, I'm actually going to go ahead and start towards the middle, and what we're going to do is we're going to sew all the way around. It's a square, so we're going to sew all the way around in a square and leave a section about a couple inches wide open at the bottom. And what we can do is that's how we're going to actually stuff the pillow. So make sure to leave a little gap so when you turn the pillow right side out, you can just go ahead and stuff it, and then we can close that up after. And when you get to the end here, you don't have to start and stop a new section. You just stop it, and you will make sure that the needle is inside the fabric. Lift up the foot and then just swivel it. And it's kind of a quick trick so that you don't have to keep changing your basically where you're sewing. So you don't have to start and stop over and over and over again. You just turn and swivel this. So as you can see, we're back to our starting area, and I'm leaving a little gap here. I'm going to leave this at the end here, and I'm just going to go back a few stitches. And just make sure to cut off any excess strings here. We want to cut that pretty close so it stays out of the way. So now that we've finished with our pillow base, what we're going to do is take this little opening here, and we're just going to go ahead and flip the pillow right side out. And make sure as you're working, when you get to the corners, to push on the corners a little bit, and that way you get nice, neat corners. Okay, so now we have it completely flipped out, and you can see that I have the corners pushed up, and so you have a nice clean effect here. The next step is I would go ahead and iron this so you get a really nice look before you stuff this, and then what we'll do is we'll stuff it, and then we'll close up the bottom here so that it is completely finished. So after you finish sewing all the pieces together, you should have that little gap there, and the next step is to go ahead and iron them and prepare them so that you can get them stuffed. So I have this one that I created first, and then I have this one over here that I created. The nice thing about this is it's really a very flexible design, so you can take pretty much any fabric that you have. If you want a more bold design, go with like a darker fabric in the back. And then you can use just plain material, or you can use a type of theme material. Whatever you have works, because you can get the same type of result. So the next step is to take the batting, and you can find batting at a ton of different places, including Walmart. And what you're going to do is just go ahead and start stuffing the pillow. So the key to stuffing the pillow successfully is to start working in the corners first. So I always stuff the corners pretty full first, and then I add in as I go along. As you're working, you may notice you start to get some areas that are not as filled in or have little lumps. Just go ahead and you make sure that you've left enough space to work, but you can put your hand in there and just kind of move the batting around a little bit so you get a finished look that's a little bit cleaner. So feel free to just move things around as needed and add in little bits to kind of fill in areas that are missing some of the batting. So I finished stuffing my pillows, and the next step is to take the ends here and we're going to close them up. So what I did is when I ironed it, I made sure to turn the ends under, and that way all I have to do is just close up the seam right there. I'm just going to sew straight across, and it should stay nicely closed and kind of hidden, and then you have a finished pillow. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what they look like. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this type of tutorial, please like and subscribe. And if you're interested in anything related to Star Wars, more for DIYs, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below or hit the like button, and that way I know you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I have some other ideas that I would love to share with you that are also kind of budget friendly, and so just let me know and I'll continue the series. If you're interested in any more bargain DIYs or home decor, check out my Facebook group. It's Dollar Tree DIYs and Decor. I will leave a link in the description box for you, and I hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you later.